Hello everyone and welcome back to Monsters of the Past. As always, I'm your host Mr.G, and today we're talking about a survivor of one of the greatest catastrophes in history. Ladies and gentlemen, Lystrosaurus. Lystrosaurus means shovel lizard, and it was a member of the Lystrosaur family. It was an herbivore and it lived from the late Permian to the early Triassic, and its bones have been found everywhere in the world, including Antarctica. Well, its bones haven't yet to be found in South America, but it probably lived there since everything was connected at that point. Lystrosaurus was only around 3 feet long, making it only about the size of a terrier. Lystrosaurus was a part of a group of proto-mammals called Dicynodont, which were a group of herbivores that only had 2 teeth, which usually manifested in the form of tusk-like structures. Lystrosaurus is most notable for the fact that it was actually a survivor of the Permian mass extinction, which, as I said before, is an event that wiped out 95% of life on Earth. Some theories as to how they survived the extinction include the idea that they survived by being used to bad air due to being burrowing animals, that they survived because of how unspecialized they were, so they could really eat anything, or that it was just a case of sheer dumb luck and there is no reason, particularly, that they survived. After the extinction event, the Lystrosaurus population ended up skyrocketing due to lack of competition. In fact, at one point they are so numerous that they made up about 95% of the land-based vertebrate population. As for its diet, Lystrosaurus is thought to have either been a root eater, where it would dig them up from the ground using mostly its tusks, or that it was just a simple above-ground plant eater and its tusks would have been used like scissors in order to cut pieces off of plants. Because of how powerful its front legs were, some scientists think that Lystrosaurus was a very good digger capable of making large burrows to nest in. Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the card. Okay, first of all, the timeline they give it is off. It claims that it only lived during the early Triassic, when it also lived during the late Permian, and in general the date they gave it is off, so that's minus a point. Secondly, it only lists one species. Thirdly, on the back of the card, the story at the bottom shows it fighting a Synognathus, which is an animal that didn't exist until after Lystrosaurus was already extinct. And fourthly, there's the fact that it doesn't even mention the fact that it was a survivor of the Permian mass extinction, even though that is the reason why this creature is so famous to paleontologists. Like, that is its most notable aspect, and they completely ignore it. Also, I guess the lack of hair could be seen as inaccurate, but we don't know for sure if Lystrosaurus had hair, so I'm not going to deduct points for that. So, overall, I give this card a 6 out of 10. Now let's look at Lystrosaurus and Pop Culture. Lystrosaurus appears in Walking with Monsters, where a group of them are seen trying to cross a river, but they get eaten by crocodile-like reptiles. And finally, Lystrosaurus appears as a tameable animal in the video game Ark Survival Evolved. That's all for this episode of Monsters of the Past. Join me next time when I talk about the terrible arms. Bye!